Welcome to the podcast, The Coaches Next Door. And to this conversation with Ana. I met Ana in the most incredible circumstances. And you know, these people that you meet and you immediately know that you are going to be okay and you are going to be friends and you are going to, help each other to grow, to develop, to find new ways. That's how I felt when I met Ana. She brought a totally different perspective, a perspective that I love, that is the perspective of the physical body. And we started, finding new ways of reaching new places as well, of knowledge together, with the mix of knowledges and the amazing capacity of asking questions. Stay with us to hear this moment, this conversation, where we talk about a lot of things, but the biggest thing is about purpose and how can we be in purpose, not only in our lives, but in our professions. Stay with us, and thank you for staying with us, and I hope you like it. Take care of yourself. Welcome, Ana. Welcome to the podcast, The Coaches Next Door. One of the things that I would like to start by saying is that I honestly don't remember when we met, but feels like many years ago.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah, was like I don't know if I need to think about it. Maybe I was like, no, 2 years, maybe 2 years and a half, something like that, or even maybe
like 2.5. Yeah, I believe so.
Maybe,
when I started here.
Yeah, exactly. When we started there, because I met Christina and then I met you, but to be honest, seems much longer than that. I don't know if it's because we also saw each other sometimes, but it's funny because even if we don't have, like, let's say, a long time that we talked about many things in life, feels like that. Feels like it's easy to that we enter a conversation like, I know, so that let's continue.
Yeah. I feel the same. Like the connection is more fluid than expected by the years we know each other.
Yeah. And also because we come from different, right now not so different, but we come from in the past different sides of the world. Like you are more physical side, let's say. I was in a little bit more mind side, right? But it's very nice to have you here on the podcast.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Also, because the topic is really created curiosity in me. Okay, because you said that the topic that you would like to bring into the podcast was.
What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Yeah.
Okay. So my first question is, why that sentence? Why you went for what I'm doing here? Why that sentence?
Well, I believe this is a common question for everyone in different sides, in different contexts, but a common question.
Yeah.
But that came to me after the mentoring program.
Yeah.
Because I was in a different professional context than the other participants.
Yeah.
So I always felt like I was the ugly duckling in the most foreigner participant of the group.
Yeah.
That was the main thing.
Yeah, because you come from physiotherapy, right?
Yes, I'm a physiotherapist.
But
no background in coaching or whatever.
No, So you were that is your studies, and you worked.
Yeah.
How many years? Remind me.
18 now.
18.
Yes.
But was a change, right? So you were
not really a change. Not like once I started working on the most conventional physiotherapy clinic, the most common one where there's lots of people per hour, the people that came to me, my clients in that context, always brought some emotional or mental questions. Like they were the most strange, out of the box kind of clients. So I soon figured that that kind of clients would be my kind of clients, not the most common kind of clients. That's why I studied lots of different things, like energetic therapies, Ayurvedic therapy, like superficial kind of study, but some studies foreign to physiotherapists and the most part of my colleagues, I believe.
And so when you, let's say, realize that okay, I'm in this clinic, everyone has more or less the same standard clients, but my clients, they talk in a different way, or they come in a different way. When you realize that, how was that for you?
Pretty natural.
Okay.
Because the main issues they brought was like grief questions and depression questions and sexual questions. Like one case, a very short one, a young woman, like in the 40s, late 30s, early 40s, with a hip question, like it was aching and such, and she was very concerned about that question in particular, because she was very jealous, in her own words. She was very jealous, and she was afraid that she could not proceed in a sexual kind of way with her husband. So the question was not, I'm not able to walk, I'm not able to no, I'm jealous and I would like to be in most active way because of the sexual question. So that was pretty uncommon in the physiotherapy world.
And also for the person to express it.
Yes.
Because we know that people have always an intention, and is not always let's say the first intention they say, right? So they have something under their worries, but it's also incredible that she was able to share it, right?
In the first moment, like in the first session.
Oh, wow.
And I started to realize that maybe I was the only therapist there that was open to other questions than the specific ones they tell to the doctor.
So let's say almost like in a very natural way, open that space for people to say, oh, maybe I can say this to this person. Okay. And now because now you changed a little bit your practice, the way you do it, right?
I'm in a private practice. I'm doing things on my own, the way I believe physiotherapy should be, like contemplating the emotional side of it, the energetic side of it, as well as the physical one. Of course, I'd like to see the range of motion become a most natural one, not aching nor with no pain. But I realized that when I touch someone, and it happens to you also, when I touch someone, I do not touch just the physical part of that.
Just the skin.
And I know that contemplating that idea as a physical therapist, I can change, or I can shift some things without even knowing. So as long as I'm aware that I'm maybe doing something else than what I'm thinking of, makes me in the most responsible kind of way dealing with that person.
And sometimes what I find interesting is that sometimes we let's say, I will say, we'll never have the possibility of reach the full impact of what we do, right? But sometimes we get a little bit the notion, oh, okay, the person maybe is going to do this or that or that. But we don't have the possibility of, getting the full range of what we are doing. But it was interesting, like last week I had a coaching session with a couple, and it was funny because they are okay, but they want to let's say do some things in a different way, and that was funny because the man, he said, oh, so now that we are a couple because of you, and I was like, because of me, and I'm like, yeah, because he did coaching with me some years ago, okay. And one of the things that he was bringing at that time was exactly that, like the relationships and how, and said, no, I'm with this person because I did some work with you. And I'm like, oh, okay, that is nice. So, and sometimes, yeah, we don't have the possibility of reach everything that the client is going to do after we work with them, right? And I think it's even more impacted when you work, for instance, in emotions like you do. Do you have a situation that someone came after some years and saying, oh, yeah?
I have not some years, but a few months. Yeah. She came and got a massage, and she was like all aching and painy in her neck because she was struggling with some issues in the professional life.
Yeah.
And she was started talking and such, not very deep conversation.
Yeah.
Because she would, I'm always letting the people choose if they prefer to be silent, or if they prefer, like, it's their space, you can do whatever you like, you do whatever you choose. And she was very silent and only talked about a few things in the end.
Yeah.
So a few months later, she came and she changed her professional life. The emotional life with a partner was super. She was like blooming.
Yeah.
And she said, I like to keep this and go even further. So I came again. Okay, thank you. That was good.
But I think that is the thing, is that sometimes people don't also understand that we are what I mean is that we are not parts, right? Even if you get, let's say, if someone goes to you with a very concrete physical issue, I don't know, something that you can see that is a physical issue, but is even if the person that doesn't realize that, only that physical thing is getting a huge impact on their emotions, right? And that will create different behaviors, and that will create different results in all the parts that they have in their lives. And I think sometimes people don't really know this. I think biology is teach a little bit strange in in school, because people don't know this. They don't know their own
Like
body.
the common thing is, like, the people realize that in retrospect.
Yes.
Like I have a case where someone was injured and with a limited range of motion by like 30 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Okay. Big accident that shredded his shoulder, and that was a mess. I started working with him. Like, I don't know what is happening inside. I don't have any exams, and honestly, I don't really need that. I was going and seeing and always evaluating, and so now he swims. Okay.
He's like, wow.
He swims. So after 30 years, he has no longer to tailor his shirts or his coats or whatever. It's like
normal.
And 6 months ago, I believe, he told me, now I'm not abnormal.
Yeah, you see. Yeah.
Now I'm not handicapped. I don't know if he said handicapped or was like something like that.
Something
but
like
now
that.
I'm not handicapped.
Yeah.
And I stopped there for a minute. I didn't say anything because he was talking, and I just grasped that thought of his. And I said, do you imagine what is be like 30 years you considering yourself handicapped by something that it has some kind of change possible?
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I totally You know, I don't know if you know, but I had an accident in a moto many years ago. I was 20 years ago, what 20 years old, and I was for a long time paralyzed, so I could not walk. And I you know, I think that period of time that um I saw, for instance, I was in university at that time, so I saw everyone going to. I said to my parents, "No, I want to go. You know, even if I could not walk." I said, "When I want to be in the house. I want to still to get. Yeah, I don't want to stay home." So I went, and seeing all my colleagues from the house going to university, I was just home. I could not shower alone. I could not, for sure, having a bath. You know. Until I got a little bit more used to walk, to use my extra legs. But that little time that for me, in relationship to my full life, was a limited time, shaped me. That thing shaped me in not in a bad way, okay, not in a bad way, but things that sometimes people feel like, oh, this is a problem, for me is like, no, it isn't. You know, until you can walk, until you can move around, is not a problem. So I think these kind of things, they, even if we sometimes don't realize, they shape the way we are. And I can imagine
Yes.
this person, maybe even longer time, in a longer time, she will feel, oh, I'm probably different now. I don't know if he's going to look back and saying, oh, I'm a different person since I can
Yes.
just go to
Yeah.
swim.
Yeah. Yeah. The mindset is completely different
Yeah.
now. I'm with I'm with that case like for 2 years now, I believe 2 years, and it's completely different. The way he thought of himself
Yeah.
first time and the way he thought of himself right now. Now he's
Yeah.
capable of everything. So he's natural. But that's the thing. It can shape you, for sure, but you don't act strange or act like you know or act like you were shaped in a different way, because that is the natural
Yeah.
form of you being.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like you take for granted, like
Yeah.
breathing or walking or whatever. That is the normal thing to do. It's
Yeah.
like almost taking for granted. Of course, if you are taken of that things for even for a short period of time, you can see in a different perspective, like, oh, you should not take this for granted,
Yeah.
or whatever. But the natural thing is that you can become again natural and unaware of that thing and
Yeah.
taking that for granted again.
Again, yes, for sure, for sure. Because for instance, I remember that I was 1 year without full mobility. So yeah, and I remember that a lot of times after that, when I was back and I was able to walk by myself, one of the things that people said to me was like, "But now you walk so slowly." You walk so slowly, and I still do that. I don't like to walk fast. But and then I said, yeah, because I'm really appreciating,
Yeah,
and
the feeling.
until today, I appreciate, if I go for a walk, I appreciate that. I appreciate the way I walk, and I appreciate the steps, and I like, for instance, the sounds that the
Yes,
steps,
yes.
the steps do in different soils and in different things. And sometimes people say that's so strange. I'm like, no, it's not, because
No,
didn't want it to
no.
go back to that normality. No, I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
I'm not a really fan. I believe you are not either of the mindfulness concept or whatever.
no.
So, but I like the way you can feel the presence and be mindful of that moment when you are in that moment. Like when
Yeah,
you are walking, the sounds, the
yeah,
smells, everything,
yeah,
you are present, more
Yeah.
than mindful. You are present of
Present. Yeah,
that
like I
moment.
prefer to call it present.
Yeah.
Because mindfulness means that you are still in your mind, you are still operating from there.
Yeah.
And you are paying attention with this, right?
Yes.
So that's why I don't like it. But it's like that presence, that awareness that we are a full combination, and everything is going to impact everything. I think is the most magnificent awareness that we can have, right?
Yeah. And why hurry?
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
hurry?
Exactly.
Why hurry?
So one question, when you think about what I'm doing here, I can imagine that, yeah, you put it in came a little bit in the mentoring, but is that also a thing for you in life, like why I'm doing here?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. What am I doing here? Because you hear so much about the purpose or the mission or whatever, and why?
Yeah.
You just have to be.
Yeah.
But it's strange if you say to someone else, I just need to be. Like the most challenging, I believe, the most challenging question about being alive is, am I worthy? Am I enough? Am I, yeah?
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with purpose or mission or whatever. It has to being. Being. So I also don't hurry for anything anywhere. I walk slow because while I walk in hiking or whatever, I walk fast because I like to push my body to that limit.
Yeah.
But that is exercise, because if I'm going for a walk just to let my mind wander and feeling things and whatever, I go slow. I don't do errands like running. But the question of what am I doing here is also related to that.
Yeah.
I don't like the word purpose or whatever. What am I being?
Yeah.
What comprehends being? Like, what am I feeling? What am I thinking? What am I dreaming?
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. The other day I also don't like the word purpose. Because I think that is a very Western way of gaining value, and we are still in the performance. I need to get my purpose done, and I go like, it's going to be done, you when you die, I'm pretty sure you did your life. That I'm pretty sure. So it's no way that you can fail that, But one of the things that I came the other day, and I got that internal let's say awareness as well, was that the word calling. What is your calling for this world? And this is because I also believe in this being. Like I want to be, and I want to be the person that I feel okay with. So it's not the person that someone said to me that I should, is not someone, I don't know, a divine signature. No, it's like I want to be the person that I decided that I want to be, and I want to be comfortable with my own being. Yeah. So the other day I got this awareness, like, oh, I like the word calling, because that means that I'm being, and I let the world calling for me. I receive the calling from the world, but I'm being myself. And that is when I allow the world to call me. And that for me made so much sense that I don't know if it makes so much sense when I explain it, but makes so much sense because means that I am. And that being of me being me allows the world to call me, and I accept or not that calling, right? So, and that is when this being connects with the world.
Yeah, it makes much more sense in English than in Portuguese, because the word in Portuguese doesn't really translate to
Like
someone
that,
calling.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like calling, it's better. Even so, you are, and this is the question also, why am I doing here? Who am I? And such of questions. Um, you can be called to something now and be
Yeah.
called to different things later. So
Oh
it
yeah.
changes as well as you change.
Yeah.
So the main question is like, who
Yeah.
are you? What am I doing here? What is, yeah,
Yeah.
it all goes round in the same
Yeah.
matters, I believe. But yeah, calling is way better than purpose
Yeah, but
or mission or whatever.
it's very funny because even if I'm a philosopher, uh, the question who I am never came to me. I never had in my life this who I am, or as far now I'm thinking about that. I never had that. Um, and I think the reply, let me put it this way, will be always impossible to reply to that question. And I think
Yes.
that is where comes the biggest suffering, right? It's because, okay, look at us. I'm almost 50, and I was so many different things already,
Yes.
right?
But
So,
it only started. It only started for me, that thing of who am I? Once someone asked me to describe myself, and
okay.
so I started. I'm a physiotherapist. I'm
Yeah,
years old. I'm living. No, that's the things you do. That's where
yeah,
you live. That's how old you are. Who are you?
yeah.
And that question is. It's not haunting for me. It's like,
Let me think
yeah,
about
I didn't even realize it was so profound
it. Yeah,
as it is, really.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
who are you as an observer of your life, of your feelings? Who are you? Yeah,
yeah,
like, and that's a pretty nice question, because the more you know who you, as you act towards something,
yeah.
the more you get aware of what things can impact you or not.
True, true. But also,
So
one of the things that I think is more incredible is that looking for that could make us lose who we really are.
why? Why do you think that?
Because, first of all, it's not possible that you are not getting interferences, right? So you have
Yeah,
education, you have a culture, you have whatever, right? So it's impossible that you can say, oh, okay, this is me pure.
yeah. Well, never. You
Never,
cannot
right?
get. You cannot get there. Yeah,
Yeah. So if you are looking always for that, instead of saying, okay, who is this person that I'm doing right now? A person, not things, but
yeah,
as what this person as a person is doing right now. And then I think is the moment that you can check if you are doing what feels that good for yourself.
yeah,
You know, I always say my best measurement is when I go to bed and I just sleep.
yeah,
And then sometimes people say, can you really do that all the time? And I said, most part of the time. I can count maybe from one hand the times that I have an insomnia or something like that. Like
yeah, yeah,
it's peaceful because I'm doing what basically I want to be doing. In a way, you will never miss that, right? If you are, I think the biggest problem is that sometimes you are not doing what you want to be doing, like deeply.
yeah, yeah,
Because I don't know, you have friends, you have blah, 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 blah.
yeah. You are always compromising here and
Exactly,
there. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So you are always like giving up on things, picking up others, right?
But
Manipulating
that, but
life.
that is the main thing of being aware of who you are.
Yeah.
Because if you are not aware of that, you believe that you are a physical therapist, as much years old as you are, living in and you create these boxes.
Yes.
That make your life a context imprisonment, I think. So being aware that you are not these things.
But for now, doing that, but tomorrow you can be doing something else.
It's not, you don't depend on that things to be you. And that is the main search.
Yes.
I don't need to get that question. I just need to be aware that I'm not a box or the other or the other. I just need that awareness of who am I. I am not any of those things. I'm all those and not any of those.
Makes sense. Yes. I always say, I don't know if you heard me already saying this, but probably because I say this a lot. You know, I say this a lot to my friends, my good friends, and there are not so many, there are three. But I say to them, like, me being your friend is not your decision.
Never. It's your decision.
It's my decision.
Your decision. Yeah.
So you can, for instance, sometimes I say to them when we are like in this deep conversation, I say, one day can be that you can decide, for instance, that you will not talk to me again. I don't know. Something happened and you decide that you don't talk to me again. I go like, I will respect that, but that doesn't mean that I will stop being your friend.
Yeah.
So in the moment that you talk to me again, I'm going to talk to you as the last day.
As usual, yeah.
So, sometimes, and that is what I mean, I think is a good example. When I say, do it for you, you know, do it because you want to be doing it. Do it because it's you doing it. Do it because it's something that makes you feel you, and not because someone is not giving you back, or I don't know, someone says that is not good, whatever, you know? And I think that is the moment, at least for me, that is the moment that I feel like, okay, this is me. This is me. And this is who I am. And if I do something different than this, I will be suffering. And I will not do that to myself, right? So, and I think sometimes we lose that possibility of experiencing that. Like, I'm doing it not because you need to be doing something for me, or this is what I should be doing. No, I'm doing it because this makes me feel joy. This makes me feel that this is the thing for me to be doing. And I think people feel that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right?
It's called authenticity, when you are being who you are.
You are.
And that is the most magnetic
right?
characteristic you can have.
Yeah, I think so as well. But I think sometimes it's hard because sometimes you will be doing things that they go out of what people are expecting, or what they know, or what they are used to, right?
Yeah, but if it is authentic, it draws people to you, even they don't comprehend as well as you are exposing the thing. Right?
True. Yeah.
Like, for instance, I curse a lot.
Yeah.
I curse a lot in my day-to-day
routine.
speaking. I curse a lot. I'm from the north of Portugal, and here's like commas. You curse, and that's a thing. So obviously, I don't do that in a professional context.
Yeah, of course,
I can behave, but I don't think there is one person that thinks that is offensive, because it's so natural. For me, it's so authentic that it doesn't hurt, or it doesn't,
because you are not doing it for anyone, right? You are not doing that to anyone.
Sure, but if you put this in another body, it's not as authentic as it seems.
For instance, I cannot curse. It's like, it's a thing that doesn't come. And I'm from the north of Portugal, but doesn't come. But for instance, but my family, for instance, some of my family also does that. But for me, I know that probably if I say a word, people will look at me like,
it's not natural to you.
Like, I'll never say that again. Because it's not in my character. I remember that, for instance, my father, I went for many years to football games and things like that.
Yeah.
And I remember one time, to the extent of ridiculous this is. So I was we were seeing football, and I was with everyone, the affiliates from the club. And then, the referee was doing whatever, and I was like, "Oh, you're so stupid!" And it was a man in front of me, a man. He said to me, I was young at that time, and he said to me, "I'm going to teach you some words, and stupid is not one of them." And I was like, "Okay."
Too polite for soccer.
Yeah, it's too polite, like we don't call anyone stupid. And then I was like, "Oh, okay." So he was just telling me some words, and I was like, "Oh, I cannot say that." And they were all laughing, And then one time I said, "Okay, I'm going to try." I said one word, and he's like, "Oh my God, even when you say that word, doesn't
feel like it." Yeah.
Doesn't feel like it, And I think that like anything is the same thing that you are, I don't know, dressing in a way that, I don't know, it's not you. You sometimes, for instance, put me in high heels and I look like a,
no,
so I think it's the same, it's the same quality. It's the same quality of things. So if you are not going to put a way of dressing that you don't look and say, "Oh, this is me," you also should not be doing things, let's say, to other people or in life that don't feel like you. I think that is when suffering comes in.
Yes. And that comes to, what am I doing here?
Yeah. And did you
I'm trying to be the most authentic self, in every way possible. And sometimes, like the mentoring program, in a very foreign context for me, yet I still felt like I belonged there, that I was learning. I was taking some things for me, for my professional practice and for my personal life altogether. But I still thought, like, what am I doing here? If I tell someone that I'm doing this, they go like, what are you doing? Why? What do you understand of that? And for sure, I don't understand some of things. I can comprehend some. I could learn some. I am not aiming to learn deeply some concepts. But the main thing I was able to reach. So the part of me that resonates with the things I would like to learn. But it was like me for taking bits of me that were there.
But do you feel also that kind of things? Because technically we call this rapport, right? So maybe I remember that sometimes you say, "Oh, what that word means." But then when I say, "Hey, this word means," like, okay. You know what that is, right? So you don't think that sometimes is about that, is about not the knowledge. Let's say, of course, we can have some knowledge and we can, "Oh, okay, now I know a new word to mean that." Okay, great. But you don't think that is about also about that rapport, like nothing. I have this belief that nothing is too far away from us. We are all human, right?
Maybe the things that are too far away from us do not reach us. The things that reach us, that comes to us, in some way resonates with us, and in some way we can grasp some things and let go the other things. We can take that things that are for us and let go the other.
Yeah, you were saying something before we started recording, that you went for a walk, right?
Yeah.
And you said, oh, I did this track for many times already, but suddenly this weekend I saw things that I never saw before.
Yes.
I think in life,
especially let me interrupt you. It's like a course where you go and you go back around, like it's like so when I went the first time, I haven't seen that, like the ordinary all the time, all of the times that I went earlier, I haven't ever seen some things in that track. And when I came around going home, I saw, and I was like, I think I stopped and I thought, what? Was this here? All the time. I don't believe this is like 10 minutes old.
You know? But you don't think that in life is the same thing?
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Sometimes, let me put it this way. We are all here with the same information, right?
Yes.
The world is available for all of us. But some minutes we are going to pay attention to something, and the next minute, like, oh my God, this was here all the time. And I didn't saw it, never saw this in my entire life. And I think this is what life is about. So that's why I say that instead of us going to look for, right? When we are present in ourselves, when we say, oh, I'm here, and we start going around with that presence, with that authenticity, we are going to start seeing things that, before we never saw, because many and different reasons. But I think that happens also in relationship to other people, to us. They will not see all of us in one go. Also because that is impossible, right?
Yeah.
Because they will pay attention to certain things in us that their own path will allow it.
And we also allow some things
to show up.
To show.
Yeah. I think, for instance, my mom says that a lot to me. She said, it's funny because I saw so many different people in you. And she said, I don't believe that you are the only one changing. I also changed because, for instance, now, of course, with the age, she's not my mom anymore, right? In the sense of education. And so we are much more sharing as two adults sharing things. So that also shows a part of me that before she never saw. But also me shows me a person that is my mom that I never had opportunity to know when I was 16 or 20, right? So do you really think that is about the question, what I'm doing here? Or is it more about what do I want to be doing here?
Maybe both. Maybe both, because in a sense, you are not you are always deciding, but you are not consciously deciding. So of course you are choosing what to be doing, but maybe you're not aware of that. But in an instance, if you're special, Ligia.
No, I'm not. I am. You know, one of the things that is really for me, I think is the biggest, for me at least, was the biggest freedom that I got was when I said, okay, these are my 3 basic values that I want to operate with. And everything that I do, I can tell you, everything that I do asking myself, I'm operating under these values because this is the values that I want to be. Maybe I'm too aware sometimes, but that for me, and I did this many years ago. because sometimes I was also struggling with that, right? I like too many different things. I like to do very different things. So people were always requesting for me, tell me one thing, tell me one thing that you want to be doing. And I cannot do that. It's anti natura. I cannot do that. So for me, it was really relevant to say, okay, what are the values that I want to operate? What are my 3 values for this life? And everything that I do, even when I get mad, is under these values. When I get mad and people say to me, oh, you are mad, so seems like that I'm out of
No,
what
those values are being compromised. So
yes, for instance, yes,
that's
yes,
why you get mad.
yes.
One
I
of
will
the,
get,
the
I will
reasons.
go, I will go for that. So for me, it's much more about that. So that makes me also very conscious about this. What I'm doing right now corresponds to my values. And if not, I go back and I say sorry and I correct and I, change whatever I was doing or saying or whatever. Um, but that for me was freedom.
I'm a bit behind in that things of values, I believe, because my main measurement is like, do I feel like it's right for me?
Yeah.
And this is a very early process for me.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I
that
operated for too many years in that thing that would this be nice for everyone?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I'm operating in the different bases. Like, it's this nice for me? Is this feels good to me?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a feeling kind
Yeah.
of measurement, not a
Yeah.
mental one.
Yeah. But for instance, I started there. And then, for instance, one of my values is connection. Okay. And you cannot imagine the number of times that I heard people saying to me, Ligia, you are allowing too much from this person. So this person is doing things that you should not be accepting.
Mm.
And in some moments I go like, okay, maybe I'm being naive. I'm many times called naive. And I said, and that for me at that time almost looked like, oh, doesn't feel good that the person is doing that, but also doesn't feel good to cut whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, now what I do? And I was in between this one thing that feels good, but also doesn't feel good. And like, okay, what do I do now? And now, for instance, I don't have this because I go like, okay, I'm the one that is going to decide how do I want to connect. I will always connect, but I will decide how do I want to do that. That before, because I didn't know because I found my values, this is not a mental thing. I found my values under hypnosis. But I think giving a name to what that was, helped me to say, okay, how do I want to do this? So it's not, what I want to say is that it's not a mental, it was not a mental construction about the values, but it was like what feels good for me. Yeah.
I cannot name it like in 3 words, but what feels good to me. And I'm still learning what feels good. And I believe I will learn about this all life long. Yeah. But what feels good to me, like yesterday when I turned around, I went with a group and then turned around because I had to come home earlier. And I came all alone.
Yeah.
It felt super.
Yeah.
Being with myself on my own.
Yeah.
And the pace was the same because I was tracking my activity. So I heard that the pace was the same. So I didn't walked slower, or no, it all stayed the same, but my awareness was different. I felt great walking on my own. It was different, and that's a tiny bit of things that happens all day long. As the opposite also works, like you feel like something's off, and you don't know what it is, because you have done that for several times and it was okay and it felt good, and now it's a bit off. It's not feeling bad, but it's not the same as it used to be. So
what is this?
What is going on here? Is it me? Is it the day? Did I sleep well? Did I not? Is this changing? Is this whatever?
One time I had a moment. I have many moments of like that, but one particular time, you know that I dance and I love to dance, and so one time me and Peter we decided, okay, we want to go for a tango lesson. So we went to a tango lesson, and I was dancing, and then the teacher said, "Oh, let's just rotate and change partners." I go to a guy that was there. The guy touched me, and I'm like, ugh, bah, bah. And I looked at Peter like, and Peter said,
let's change back, please.
Can I, sorry. And then he was, because I'm not touchy, but I'm okay if someone hugs me. I don't normally refuse a hug. And we came out and he said, "What the hell was that?" And I said, "I don't know." But I was so disgusted. You know that 3 days later, I found out I was pregnant.
Oh, okay.
It was like, and then we're like, "Oh, okay. And it was like, oh my God." And I was disgusted. Like, was not even like, I don't like it. Was really like, don't touch me, not a minute longer.
Yeah.
And then I think 3 or 5 days, I discovered that I was pregnant. And then we're like, okay, that makes all the sense in the world.
Yes.
So this means that can be like that, right? You don't know even why you feel what you feel. But something like, okay.
It's like it's the main basis of feeling. You don't explain it.
No. Yeah.
You don't have the chance of explaining anything. You can maybe translate it into words. You can never explain it.
No, because you sometimes it's happening and your body's reacting as the way the feeling is coming, and it's like, what is this? You get surprised to yourself. You get an internal surprise, like, why I'm feeling this right now? I was always okay with this. What is happening? But I think that for me is being alive, right?
Yeah. It's amazing. Like, I believe we come here often. That life is a thing that is interrupted by death so many times in a lifetime, that is longer than we can grasp, can imagine. I'm using a lot of grasp today. I don't know. But I believe that we are here experiencing ourselves. So in that way, I'm a routine kind of person. I like the things structured and knowing what's coming. I like that. I it's comfortable for me, and it's like regulating myself emotionally. That's a good thing. Not always doing the same thing, but knowing what's coming.
Yeah, what is coming.
That's good for me. But in this kind of life experience, it's good to have some things different and some things difficult. And being like the observer before going into the things emotionally. Like letting all the flow of emotions come.
I think so. I think it's really, I call it peace, I call it peace when you are able to say, it's okay to feel what I feel, but that doesn't mean that I need to react to it.
Yeah. I have several situations in my life where I was confronted with an urgent situation, kind of dangerous one, or health issues of some other people. Like one time I was going with my friends from college to a night out, and we were like 5 or 6 cars and no traffic whatsoever in VCI in Porto. So a very busy street, but no car was going except our cars, like 4 cars, and mine was the slowest, so I was behind. And then I hear a crash and I see smoke and I see some movement, and when I approach I see one of my friends hit the rails and such, and the car was all smashed, and there were 4 people inside. There was smoke coming out, and the first thing I thought was, okay, I'm gonna stop my car, I'm gonna put a triangle to signal cars. It was like after a curve, so dangerous as hell. So I very minded in the things I need to do to
make some
go to that situation. I opened the door. Some of my other friends helped me. Some was picking the scattered pieces of the car all over the freeway. I called the ambulance. I called the police. All very okay. Everything was prepared, arranged. Da, 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 da. And then I went to sleep. In the next morning when I woke up, I cried my lungs, my ears, my eyes, everything out. Because then it came the rush of emotions.
But that's the thing, is that some of us will be good at that. Some of us will be good at what needs to be done and cut the emotional reaction. And then when, okay, everything is okay, now is my time to put things out. But some of us are good at doing that. Some of us are good on, and that's why, I don't know if because of that, I like the word calling, going back to that word.
Well,
because is accepting the calling and not reacting to the calling, you know what I mean? So it's not reacting to whatever is happening. Now it's seeing what is the real calling. And for instance, in that moment, your calling was, let's make this safe. Let's make this, someone here needs to organize, make this safe, do what needs to be done. And some of us will have a different calling in the same moment, right? But I think it's really incredible that your calling will be yours. You know what I mean? So you will be doing what you are the best one to do.
Yes.
And you accept that and you do it well, right? Without even sometimes effort. Like you don't need to think. It's like panic.
It's natural. It's natural.
Very natural. Yeah. So that's why I like that word. See what is the calling, and if you want to pick up that calling of whatever is going on, and sometimes you can say, I hear the calling and I will not pick up this one. So I think is that, and again, is also this conversation, I think, can be let's say summarized in, we don't know.
And the thing is, we will never know.
We will never know. We'll never know. And I think that is, as humans, our biggest experience, is that all of us, we are here and we don't know. And I'm being very honest. If someone tells me that knows, I will not trust that person. I go like, you don't know shit. You don't know shit. So, the only thing that I think that for me is the biggest experience as human, as you said, why we come here, to get this experience that we don't know what is going to happen.
Yeah.
We don't know
Like you don't know who you are. You cannot observe yourself because you are the observer. So you don't know anything. You are only observing what it is.
Yeah. But then one of the things that I think we can do is deciding. Like we don't know
how to respond to that.
We can decide how from the things that are here, and I know, and I'm here, and I can feel, I can see, I can hear, how do I want to be replying to that? And that is what I think we can do. But knowing, I don't think so. Like saying, oh, this is it, if I decide this is going to happen. I like, good luck with that. That doesn't work.
No one learned anything about the pandemic.
No.
The only thing that thing taught us was like, you don't know anything about what is capable of happening right now.
No.
And that was the main lesson. And yesterday I was really longing for that feeling of walking in the pandemic times where there were no cars, no noise, just hearing the birds chirping, and I was like, oh, can we have some of that please again? Just a bit. Like a weekend of no cars.
Because that is the quietness, right? That is the moment that you can really sometimes get easier. I always say, for instance, sometimes people say to me, oh, but why people can go, I don't know, in a retreat or to India and they can meditate, and like, because it's easy. It's easy. It's super easy. So it's not even difficult. The difficult part is to come back to, most part of real life and still get that quietness of being able to say, okay, let's cut a little bit the impact of, and but I think the only way to do that is that you stay in yourself and say, okay, can come a lot of things, but I will stay with me to start. But I think that requires that observation, that authenticity, that ability to say, how do I want to be doing this? So a lot of, maybe different things along the way. But for me, is your question of what I'm doing here, I think that is like, we still don't know.
No, I was not hoping for a response to that question ever.
Exactly,
I believe I was hoping years ago, like maybe someone has an answer to this, but now I realize no one will ever have.
No, I don't think so.
I will never have.
But do you feel comfortable with that idea?
Yes, because I know, being aware of that question and that inability to respond to that question, it's where the safe space begins. I'm aware that I'm the observer and I don't know what I'm going here, so I'm open to what comes.
That is I think that is smart.
Being aware that I'm not any of the boxes. That I'm more than I saw something yesterday, and I saw this again today, of a channel, Vida Veda, the Ayurvedic channel of Mateus Macedo. And there was something, post like, imagine that everything you are is set on fire. Your identity, your house, your mobile, your profession, everything. Everything burns except you, because you cannot burn. Who are you? And that's the thing. You can be, if you are aware of that you don't belong in any box, not forever. Like you can be in a box today and you can manage your life in this box, and then but this is a box. This is not who you are. This is like a part of you, a fragment of what you do. of how you present yourself.
Yeah.
And being aware of that, and then knowing that you can never respond fully to this question, that makes a sense of peace, an inner peace.
Yeah.
I believe this is but again, I'm still amazed when I think, what am I doing here? Why do you know this? For instance, situations that I was hoping do not repeat itself in a time, but still repeat, because there are patterns in our life and you need to let them go. What am I doing here? You know better. What am I doing here? And this brings awareness also.
And
this is a pattern. Why am I repeating
why
this?
I'm doing this? Yes. And if I want to continue doing that, doesn't mean that it's always easy to stop that. But at least you can ask yourself, but do I want to continue? And if not, what can I do, right? What other things I can do? So I think we got in a very different topics, and I hope that this conversation also can support people because I think a lot of people are also asking themselves, like, what I'm doing here, what is this all about? I'm a lot of times I hear people asking, I'm doing the right thing or not, so I think this conversation that we had here, I think, can give already some hints. Okay, what could be another possibility? Instead of us going around these questions, what could be other possibilities? And again, probably if we have this conversation in a year, we will probably get to different or not points. I don't know. So let's keep that in an open frame. Maybe we need to come back to this conversation saying, okay, did you find out or not? Maybe when we are really, really old. Saying, hey, did you find out what we were doing here?
I expect we both don't find the meaning.
Don't find out. Me too. I hope that I don't. So thank you so much for this amazing conversation.
Thank you.
We see each other for sure. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Bye.